May 7th, 8th, and 9th, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. The Sun in Taurus and the Moon in Leo. This is not comfortable because the Sun and Moon are squaring each other. And whenever that happens, you know that they don't get along. So the Sun in Taurus loves beauty, but also loves stability, wanting things to be the way they are. Why get up and reenact the 7 statements if there's nothing wrong with the 7 statements? Let's be calm, cool, and collective, and let's be kind. Love thy neighbor, because Taurus is because it's ruled by Venus, the planet of love and beauty. But then we have the Moon in Leo saying, well, now it is time to express yourself, show off, put the fancy colors on, decorate, color coordinate, put on your golden corn, and make sure that it shines so that the whole entire world can see you. It's very much about self-preservation and self-dignity. And, Leos are here to show off in life. They're really here to give off that exuberant energy that that they're in the room because they give off the gold and the white photonic light. I can say white photonic light because there happens to be a lot of that shining down upon the earth right now. So we have this square going on. We have Mercury moving through Gemini before it's going to retrograde on May 10th. So whatever issues that are recurring right now, you're going to be revisiting them when the retrograde period occurs. It's not the best time to purchase electronic equipment. You want to get that done before the retrograde happens. Because if you do, it probably will not be working out too well. You'll probably have glitches, stunts, issues with the technology. Things not being in the proper place, things not getting inserted correctly. The computer not turning on, this part missing from it. The list of issues can go on and on and on and on and on. And you want to make sure that the people can fix up this technological piece of equipment, because otherwise, if that doesn't happen, then it's just not going to work properly. And you would better have that happen after or before the retrograde. Because Mercury retrogrades can also cloud communications and cloud our mental thinking and processing, where we might just say something totally off. We might misinterpret or misunderstand things more than usual. We might think, I put all those logs up on the structure, it should hold together, and then lo and behold, we go out to the market and get our groceries, and the whole thing has toppled down by the time that we come back and go to the backyard and realize that we have all that stuff that we just set up, and now it's just disappeared and gone to shreds. So, that's the real danger that we all need to be looking out for right now. So we have Mercury in Gemini. Mercury rules Gemini. And then we have Venus in Aries. It's that first bit of fire that's sort of coming out into the cosmic theaters this year in 2022 for Venus. So Venus is really getting activated, and that Venus will really get activated on Tuesday of next week. That's the biggest day of next week, because Tuesday is going to be the day where Mercury is going to go backwards. It's going to station backwards in motion, and we're going to be having Jupiter retrograde moving into Aries. And Jupiter retrograde in Aries is going to ask us some profound questions, for the potential retrograde period. And we'll get there sometime later into the transit. But it's going to ask us, are we taking care of ourselves, or are we on the hype train? Now, this is the question, because when a planet goes retrograde, it reflects back. And Aries can be very impulsive, spur-of-the-moment decisions. Oh, this little flower bed looks good, let's go over there. And we get stung and we have to go in and put a wound or put something on the, sting that we got. And I wish I could say that with utter conviction, but given the fact that we have a wonky porch with bugs that fly around there, and I don't mean flies and ticks, buzzy bugs, I mean buzzy stinging bugs. And it's like when you literally walk out the door, and it can create that kind of limitation. And that's not the best limitation. And indeed. But that's just the way it is, and you can only do so much. We've sprayed down that area. So for me, that could maybe be a focal point. But so, as I was talking about decision making, Aries doesn't always, as a sign, think through their decisions. Now, I happen to have these planets in air, and I happen to have my moon opposite the sun sign, and Mercury in Taurus, which is the slow and steady plotter of, how are we going down the road of life? And when they make a decision, they are in it for the long term and forever. Because Taurus comes after Aries, and it's very slow. And that's a good thing, to be able to sort of put this in that category, and weigh things out of picking a lane that's going to really, really serve you and staying in that lane. And that comes from sort of the deliberation, that process of just eliminating the factors that don't really work. So, that's going to be, something as well. And, the thing about the hype train is that it crashes and burns. Like I think about the train in Anastasia, when it sort of, one of the coaches split apart, and the train got separated because the chains broke. Or Thomas and Friends was on the raft, going to, the mainland, and it was the chain was attached to a ship, and he didn't really think through the decision of, going on there or not going on there. And I argue that, and I don't want to negatively stereotype Thomas, but I do believe that Thomas is an Aries, as just the sign that he would be. Gordon, of course, is Capricorn Leo. You can obviously, if you know the characteristics and traits of those two signs, then, you can know. But so anyway, that decision failed him. Now, this is not by fate. We have the power to make our own choices, and the resulting consequences or rewards that come from those choices can be based on us and our decision making. And so it's really, really going to remind us, of the sort of the opposite sign. And I like to think that when a planet retrogrades in a sign, then we tend to look at the upsides, the characteristics and traits and qualities of the opposite sign. So Aries is opposite Libra. So, Venus retrograde in Capricorn, coming home on ourselves, getting to the roots, getting to the foundation, of the values that are going to be serving us for the long term and that are going to be emotionally securing us, and especially, with the security element of the North Node moving into Taurus. So that's just my little, I'm going to make up a word here, indentatiae of what I, come up with. So we have this influence, and, I know I have a friend, that I knew who sort of by fate had the train going off the rails because of that, just circumstances in his life. But hopefully my train will be running smoothly and efficiently and will be going on the right track and sort of instead of going down the wrong way. And for sort of that's just what would be happening. So we have that going on. We have Mars in Pisces, more reflective, more in using the calm feeling of inner knowing to truly guide us along the pathway in life with Mars in Pisces. Because if we were to separate Mars and Pisces, they're very, very different energies, because Pisces comes, before Aries. Pisces is the last sign, Aries is the first sign. So I'm going to name the fact that these are very different energies, but it is interesting how they work together, because Mars is strength and direction and drive, and Pisces is very, sort of go with the flow, swimming energy, sort of letting the wind sort of take you and toss you by up into this island, up into that island. It's that kind of thing. And, there is a great advantage in that. Jupiter is almost done with Pisces, so it's going to be a wonderful time to really, really set what we want to set in motion. And you don't need to have things that you want to manifest. Maybe they'll come about when Jupiter does enter Aries, and you're like, oh, I have this great idea, or I have this great inspiration, or, vision, all these types of things. This goal that I want to set in motion, maybe I will be meditating more when Jupiter enters Aries. Doing the things which don't align necessarily with what you would typically think of with the signs and elements and planets that are currently in the cosmos right now. So, when there's no Earth, it's a wonderful time to cook. and to clean and to organize and to, restructure your shelves and plant a garden. All those things that bring you back into that centered state of real peace, of being here now. It's very counterbalancing to that. And I think what was so special is that we had the Aries Virgo energy on the great conjunction of Jupiter and Neptune in Pisces on April the 12th. Aries is alive. Action. Let's go for it. Let's accomplish this. Let's really, really bring forth the energy. And Moon in Virgo is like, okay, what is the list? What is what are the details of this? What is the practical steps? What things do I really, really need to consider in order to make this work? And I remember cooking something on that day with the Moon in Virgo really, really counterbalancing all of the Pisces energy. And I believe that the last time Jupiter was in Virgo, the last time I had my Jupiter return, my guess is that it was September 27th, 2015, that I had that, Jupiter return, or it could have been my actual birthday, 2015 to 2016 transit from August 11th through September the 9th of 2016. So August 11, 2015, is when it began. And that's the last time that it was in Virgo. And, that's a lucky and optimistic placement in and of itself, in very, very special ways, because it's very, very counterbalancing to the Jupiter energy. The moon is your emotions, and the moon and Taurus get along very, very well because Taurus stabilizes. Jupiter is, stretching your horizons, big possibilities, ideas, visions. Virgo is like, let's get serious here. What are the details that need to be applied in order to make this work? And it really, really is very supportive to the Jupiter energy in and of itself. But so the moon was in Virgo, grounding us. Wonderful energy to make a recipe, to do anything dealing with the earth element whatsoever, would be wonderful for that day. To combine it also with the Pisces energy going on, and to balance that out. And so, with all the other placements, Saturn and Aquarius, let's give ourselves permission to be our unique selves. Uranus and Taurus, what are our values that need shifting? And all the other things as well. So, thank you for tuning in.